BuyFordNow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Tonight, as the whole holiday season takes a new turn, we're back at 3M Arena at Mariucci with Golden Gopher hockey. And tonight, a seldom seen opponent for the U.S. Army and the Military Academy at West Point. And in net, Jared Dempsey.
The freshman taking over for a senior, and his coach, Brian Riley, has been impressed. He's been poised. Look at those numbers. Very unfreshman-like. And a guy's going to return to his goal crease. That's Eric Shearhorn after Matt Robson got his first start on the 9th of December versus the Buckeyes.
And those are your Northland Ford starting goalies. Don Lucia behind the net in his 31st season coaching Division I hockey. And a last name anyway, that is absolutely synonymous with Army hockey, and that is now Brian Riley, and he's been there for a long time. His father Jack was a legend in hockey coaching and was at West Point for many, many years. And we're underway with the Golden Gophers and the Black Knights of Army. Tell you about why they're not the Army cadets later on, in case you're scratching your head and go, wait a minute. Here's a quick turnaround by Minnesota and the Gophers. Tyler Nanny swings it away and tings it back so they can have the face-off off that icing call. Welcome to the Golden Gopher Maroon and Gold lineup to a new name, Clayton Phillips. Not new to Edina hockey fans and people in that area, but he's in the lineup tonight.
It'd be interesting to watch him play, see how poised he can be. Having his first game mid-season is a unique affair, but trying to find that bit of calm amongst all the excitement that's been building up for him to join this Gopher team at one point or another.
Several roster changes, some of them temporary, others are permanent. Casey Middlestead and Ryan Lindgren are with Team USA at the World Juniors. Here's Nanny behind the net, turns it in, and it floats onto the glove of Jared Dempsey.
One could really argue that Casey Middlestead is Team USA right now. 3 goals, 3 assists, 3 assists on all 3 goals today. He's been sparkling. Fun to watch that team today.
I hope the Sabres don't make him stay, to tell you the truth. It's outdoor hockey in Buffalo, and he's burning it up.
No, the good thing is it's cold enough. He might want to come home, even though it is cold in Minnesota right now.
Let's go home to Minnesota.
Awfully fun to watch a player that every time he gets pushed to a new level and you think, all right, now we're going to see if he can do this. He only excels further. And that was the case when he played in Green Bay before his senior year of high school. Led the league in scoring before he left, came into the University of Minnesota this year, and has been outstanding from really the drop of the puck, points in his last 5 before he left.
Got a nice goal yesterday in a loss to Slovakia. Today, just missed one in a shootout as Team USA beat Canada. And there are the numbers in the world so far for Casey Middlestead, a guy who really doesn't ever seem to get rattled.
If that's a nice goal, it's a warm day in Minnesota. That's unbelievable. Your understatement of the year right there as he goes backhand toe drag and then Bobby Orrs it to the goal line. Awfully fun to see that team beat Canada today.
Yeah, we've been saying enjoy him this year, fans, because as we see more and more regularly in Division I hockey, you might not have him more than 1 year. He and Ryan Lindgren are with Team USA in Buffalo at the World Juniors. They'll be back pretty soon. And now that Clayton Phillips is here, the departing friend is, although maybe not departing permanently, is defenseman Nate Konepke, who's going to the USHL. Lucia says he may be back in the program, though. Well, here are the numbers for Army.
The big thing, they've played well against good teams, 4-0 against ranked opponents. Those ranked opponents have all been top 20 teams, and this is a team that's really had 2 different seasons, Doug. They started out 6-3 and then hit the skids in mid-November, unable to really get anything going with just a single win in 7 games. But it seems as though they've started to find their way.
At home in West Point, they've been brutal this year. You saw that number for their total games, 7-3-1 road. They're 1-5-1 at home. Minnesota, go ahead.
I think it goes without saying, this is going to be a disciplined team. Minnesota can't get into penalty trouble because they can't expect to have too many power play opportunities given to them by Army in this particular affair.
Puck dancing around in the neutral zone, turned back now by Zulsdorf. And he punches that out and away. So the Golden Gophers, who have lost 3 and have lost 5 of their last 6 after dropping a pair at Ohio State right before the break and a split at home against Wisconsin. Very much hoping to get back on Don Lucia's program here with another different look coming into the start of the stretch run begins now.
Here is that new makeshift superpower top line with Rem Pitlick joining Tommy Novak and Tyler Sheehy. And when you look at the numbers, Doug, it's easy to see why Don Lucia did this. Rem Pitlick points in 3 of the last 4, yet Novak and Sheehy over in the last 3 games. Don Lucia clearly trying to ignite that line with the hot hand of Rem Pitlick.
Well, that line is critical. That line has got to ignite everybody else. Now the Gophers on the attack. Here's Novak. Centered, and that hit the post. A metallurgy save for Dempsey, and he'll drop down and cover up the loose bouncing puck now.
Great patience shown by the freshman Dempsey there, as Pitlick has not 1 but 2 opportunities, and this is what I love. When Tommy Novak is able to have a bit of calm in the storm, 2 players around him, yet he turns, patiently finds a player stick in the slot, and that was Rem Pitlick. And he keeps getting opportunities like that. The Gophers' top line is going to do exactly what Don Lucia has asked.
Mike Smatula now, flanked by Brent Gates Jr., number 10. And on his left, number 19, Scott Reedy. This one spins away, pulled free by Gates. Got free with poke check. Now Reedy will dump it into the Army end.
Gates, another one of those players that has quietly found a nice little way. Points in 3 of the last 4 for him as well. And it doesn't surprise me because he's a player that uses his feet. He skates. He continues to push the pace. It's a commonality amongst the players who've been successful in Rem Pitlick in Middlestead.
Gates has the puck deep in his own zone for Minnesota. Trying to clear, turned back in by Mike Braston. Steered away by Shearhorn. Now the Gophers hoping to do a little breakthrough, but that doesn't work. Smatula taps it back, and they'll punch it back to the neutral zone. Here's Reedy. Gophers on the attack. Swings a high puck low. Gates in hot pursuit. Bangs down there with Joe Schechter, number 5 for Army. Now comes the Golden Knight breakout play. This is Mansfield firing. He was actually trying to set up Trevor Fiddler, number 10, down there. A small, feisty, and quick forward. Here's Fiddler, 5'7", Massachusetts player at the line. Kept in by Blake Box, and that clangs the post. Now, racing down the left, it's Nick DeCenzo, a former Hibbing Blue Jacket, who helped get the Jackets to the state tournament just a few years ago. A shot hit a crowd. That's loose, picked out of the low slot. And the Gophers' Glover will turn it away to Smatula. Minnesota will come out as Army changes.
And you talked about the former Hibbing mainstay, DeCenzo, moving back to the defense. Has played some forward this season, played all of last year on defense, and Coach Brian Riley just needed a little bit more stability back there, so he tapped the senior.
McManus slings it away. Here comes Minnesota. It's Romanko driving a shot right into the belly of Jared Dempsey, and that stops the play and rocks the net, too, as a matter of fact. 5 minutes and 2 seconds into the opening period. Here at Mariucci, it is still a 0-0 game. No score needed. Don't do a score.
Well, the senior Mike Smatula going to, as Don Lucia called it, Bloody Nose Alley right in front of the net. He's been paid off for paying the price. And you see he leads the senior class with 5 goals, and I'll bet you those 5 goals have not traveled 30 feet. As you see Mike Spatula there, it pitched a dandy by Casey Middlestad, and that's what the goal scorers have done this year for the Minnesota Gophers. They have not had the end-to-end flair that we've seen at times. It's really been a game of getting to the front of the net, creating chaos, and pitching it in from a couple of feet.
Now 5 minutes and 2 seconds into the game. This is the first matchup of the fourth lines for each team. We haven't seen them yet tonight. Here's a loose puck and a little top away by Ryan Norman, but the Black Knights carry it away. Army flings it back low, and now Sadik is there. McManus ridden into the corner boards by Ramsey. Ratcheted away by Sadik, and out comes Ramsey. Minnesota through the neutral zone. This is Norman. Ryan Norman pestered by Dalton McAfee, number 2. And a bouncing puck to Brendan McGuire of Army. Army now calls its military academy team Army West Point. And the other big change is it's the Army Black Knights. And if you're scratching your head going, wait a minute, didn't they used to be the Cadets? Yeah, you're right. For decades and decades and decades they were. Tell you what happened there in a second. Now Army with a puck in its own zone. It's Anderle. Taken down, coming out. That's a penalty. I didn't think it was going to be, but the trailing, well, now both officials threw up their arms. So that is a penalty on Minnesota's Rem Pitlick. And Army will have its first power play of the game.
Take another look here as Anderle's trying to get out of his zone using his feet, and Pitlick is just barely going to obstruct him, but that causes the Minnesota native to head to the ice, and subsequently Rem Pitlick's going to take a break. And the power play for the Black Knights has been good, although the last 2 games they have not had a lot of opportunities. Only 3 chances, 0 for 3 in those 2 games. I think a big break for Coach Brian Riley's club right here to be on the road in a power play in the first period.
Served up behind the net in his own end by Jared Dempsey, the 6'2 freshman from Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan, a Detroit suburb. And Army comes out now on the first power play for either team tonight. Michael Wilson leads it into the corner, whacked at by Glover. Wilkinson around the horn, but it misfired on the way to Tyler Pham. And everybody piles along the end boards, and seconds drip off the Army power play with that. Michael Wilson, but it's turned away and cleared all the way down.
The Gophers get a change, and Spatula just sprints off the bench trying to get in, and look at him chase this puck here. That's hunger.
And he gets slammed into the boards. Did he go head first? It looked like he did. There's no penalty. Pulled away by Evenshow. Here comes Army now, driving away on the power play. The centering pass is broken up by Sadik, and Jack Sadik hammers it away, and goodbye, it's gone.
A nice clear there by the Gophers, but happy to see Mike Spatula still up after that hit. Can't wait to see a second look at that from our vantage point, Doug. That looked very scary.
Power play running now for 39 seconds for the Black Knights from Army. Caught behind the net. Kept in, though, by Army. Here's DeCenzo. And the Black Knights work it to the wing. Gophers at full strength now in 23 seconds. And the Knights kick it to the line. DeCenzo working back and forth with Trevor Fiddler. DeCenzo runs and had the notion and didn't go. That one hit the skate of Jack Sadik, and back out it comes. Shorthanded Jack Ramsey driving in for Minnesota with a cast of thousands with him. Novak swings on a shot that actually hit Nick DeCenzo as the Army power play expires. Picked off at the line by Novak, and we're going to have a whistle here. Too many men? The linesman called it, pointing at the Minnesota bench. So what do you think it is? I'll take a crazy guess. It's too many men on the ice on the Gophers.
And there are so many things you're trying to get used to when you come back from a long break, and this is not one Don Lucia would have expected to happen. He'd think some sticks and a stick infraction. You can see all 6 players right there hopping on the ice, and that is the reason the Black Knights will have another power play. That'll cause the coach some angst as he heads to the locker room.
Yep.
That'll be a talking to some of the players, and that is really a communication-based error.
So Minnesota's right back on the penalty kill here. As Novak and Pham locked up, a crank at it by Zulsdorf, but Army keeps it in, but not for long. Tommy Novak scampers away and lifts this one deep into Black Knights ice.
Coach Brian Riley really gave Tyler Pham.
Picked off by Sheehy, and a moment of excitement close in.
Really gave Tyler Pham an amazing compliment, saying that he and the senior class changed the culture of this team, got the team back on the correct and proper path, instituting an increased attention to detail, a work ethic.
Misfired to Dempsey, and the Gophers could not cash that one in. Army on the power play for another minute 17. And we'll have a whistle here with 11:06 to go in a still scoreless first period. It's Minnesota with all the shots on goal, 4-0.
The freshman netminer is going to come out there, and he essentially gets scored on behind the net as it goes through his legs. Then he dives out and is able to save the day as Bristad was busting down after the Jack Glover clear.
Jared Dempsey came off a split at New Hampshire last weekend, including a career-high 37 saves in the last game this team played before the holiday break. Now the Black Knights' Alex Wilkinson halfway through this power play. 2 power plays back-to-back. Picked off, gunned away by Smatula. Gophers changing their penalty kill unit as Tyler Pham turns it back. Here's DiCenzo, and they'll play it back. Minnesota full strength in 43 seconds. And the Black Knights of Army lost the puck, and it's turned out by Jack Ramsey, and he whistles it all the way down.
Gophers doing an excellent job of keeping Army to the outside. Everything's to the perimeter, and for 2 back-to-back penalty kills, they've done a very nice job.
A couple of great turnovers created just out of your right side there, Chrissy, on that blue line. Very impressed with the forwards, helping the defensemen, tracking back through the center ice area, and really steering the offensive players into an area where they don't have an out. You see the player just trying to dump that puck in. Smatula is able to get that puck not only off the offensive player of Tyler Pham, but down and outside the zone so he could get a change.
Well, now we're almost halfway through the first period. Still 21 seconds remaining on this power play for Army, which again came when the Gophers were called for too many men on the ice. And now a penalty has been called on Trevor Fittler of Army, who's going to get rung up for interference. And so it's going to be 4-on-4. First penalty tonight for Army. They score! Minnesota with a 4-on-4 goal, and it's the captain, Tyler Sheehy.
Well, we talked about that top line trying to get a little bit of chemistry, to get some momentum going here, and the player to do that was going to be Rem Pitlick, and he distributes right there, and what a bullet. Get Tyler Sheehy shoot off his off foot and just dust one to the far side on Jared Dempsey. So Sheehy's first point in the last 4 games.
Sheehy from Pitlick and Sadik at 10:01 of the first period. 4-on-4 goal for Minnesota. Sheehy from Pitlick and Sadik, and now it's a 1-0 Minnesota game. Picked off by Army, and a running drive by Wilson. Sticked away and up and out of play by Eric Shearhorn.
Well, people know about the offensive abilities of Tommy Novak. What they don't often see is the little things. He's a very cerebral player, very smart away from the puck and patient with it. And it was a great defensive effort there of Tommy Novak to be able to bounce back on the defensive side of the puck to keep Michael Wilson from a clear breakaway.
Big Ten Player of the Year last year, the Gopher captain Tyler Sheehy.
It'll be fun to see Clayton Phillips get here. Don Lucia talked about getting him into the power play right away.
Power play running for Minnesota now for 1:21. Here come the Gophers. 3-on-2 down low, but a shot did not get on. Now Bristad guns it rink wide. Misfired on the way to Phillips. This is Clayton Phillips. Welcome to the colors tonight for the first time. And turned in by Bristad, but no. And the Gophers gather it back. Minnesota on the man advantage for 53 more seconds.
Well, Chrissy, I'd say he's getting exactly what you're talking about. Top key here on the power play.
Bristed's shot deflected off the skates and is turned back up the wing. Leon Bristed with a splinter on it. Gathered in the corner. Gun to the line. Here's Phillips. Shoots one. Save. And turned away in a scramble for the rebound. Bristed is down there along with Gates. They all pile into the advertising along the end boards. A kick there by DeCenzo. Got it free, but Brent Gates Jr. is there. Here's Phillips. Guns Bristed there. And some pretty 1-2-3 touch passing. Gophers come back. Here they go with a little jump now. Nanny lets it fly and a save by Dempsey. Loose puck. And lifted away by a much beleaguered Army Black Knights penalty kill.
Very important clear there. That defensive group for the Black Knights very tired. The Gophers finding lanes.
Outlet was picked off, but out comes Shearhorn to help out as a hopeful Connor Anderle, a senior from St. Louis Park, who's been this team's top scorer the last 2 seasons, had high hopes with that one. 1-0 Minnesota. The Gophers have all 8 shots on goal in this game with 7:45 left in the first period.
Surprising because the Gophers have given the Black Knights some opportunities. They've been unable to even get on net.
Pitlick in softly. They were trying to go 1-2-3 in there to get it back to Sheehy, but Sheehy went down before Novak's puck got to him. Now it's McAfee. Both teams at full strength with 7:19 to go in the first. 1-0 Gophers. Loose in the neutral zone, gathered in by Zulsdorf. Checked, loose. Black Knights come in, 2-on-2 down low. Stick handling and a drive, but no, it flutters away to Wilkinson. He tried to flatten that one out. Now they wheel, try to get a forecheck set up. Schechter fires right up the gut, turned away by Shearhorn and then gathered in. With 6:56 to go in the first period, 8-2 Minnesota now in shots. It's a 1-0 Gopher lead. The Golden Gophers lead the Black Knights of Army by a score of 1-0. On the goal by Captain Tyler Sheehy, with each team a man short at 10:01 of this period.
The Gophers continue their trend line of coming out strong in the first period, but gosh, look at that second period, 23 goals, but giving up 17 to their opponents.
Happy to say, Ben, that coming into this next to last game of 2017, our injury report brought to you by our friends at Sanford Health, there's clear, nobody on it.
That is Don Lucia's Christmas present.
Yeah, exactly. And again, they'll get Middlestead and Lindgren back from the U.S. or Team USA at the World Junior Championships in just a few days. So, almost said Minnesota. Team USA had a nice shootout win over Canada today. And I always maintain that if USA beats Canada, it doesn't matter what round it's in. You know. Here's a long puck away to Luke Noterman. A drive, turned back. Luke has been cleared now to play for the rest of the season. Kept in at the point by Johnson. A tip. It just feathered it down toward Ryan Norman, number 23, but he couldn't quite turn it in, and a stick level drive is squelched by Jared Dempsey.
Chrissy, down between the benches, only 2 shots on goal for the Black Knights. It would be easy to hang their heads. A couple of power play opportunities. What's the temperature like?
You know, I noticed right away how physical they're playing, which isn't easy to do on a big rink like this with all this space, but they're certainly playing a very, very physical game.
The biggest thing there, if you're going to be physical, you can get a long way from your goal crease and you try to finish your checks on the exterior of an Olympic sheet of ice, excuse me.
Which is something that for many years Army had actually a bigger ice sheet than Olympic size. Their current rink, Tate Rink, was built in 1985 and has a 200 by 90 foot ice surface. Second straight game in which they played on Olympic ice the last bit of December here. Here's the puck loose in the Army zone. Cranking away on the end boards, Darian Romanko. Kept in at the line. Here's Phillips with a drive, turned out of a crowd.
Second nice shot by Phillips. It's created a rebound for the forwards to try to key off of and try to collect. Forwards been unable to do so, but a nice sign for Coach Mike Gensel, who runs the D-Corps.
Number 6, Clayton Phillips, first game in, freshman from Edina. Coming in from the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the U.S. Hockey League. He was an all-star last year with the Fargo Force in that lead. Third-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins this year. Now dancing around a check. What a penalty is going to be called on Scott Reedy. As flying through the air, Dominic Franco is a big target at 6'5".
He shows a bit of hand-eye coordination here as he dances to the inside, but the back pressure of Reedy just barely got that stick in the wickets of Franco. Very much similar to Rem Pitlick, just fractionally impedes the opponent, and the opponent goes down. The official has no choice but to make that call.
It's a tripping penalty on Reedy at 14:58 of the first period. 3 penalties already in this period for Minnesota. Period about 3/4 gone. Minnesota leads 1-0 on a 4-on-4 goal by Tyler Sheehy. And Nick DeCenzo will have to chase. DeCenzo was a Pioneer Press All-State player in his high school days. Got Hibbing Blue Jackets, I mentioned earlier, into the state tournament. That was in 2011. One of the great high school hockey programs of all time up in Hibbing. Here's a grind down in the corner. Pulled away by Minnesota's Brendan McGuire. And he blasted the length of the ice.
The Gophers' penalty kill continues to be very impressive. Clean exits, great back pressure, creating turnovers. Only one time with the Black Knights really able to establish some pace through the neutral zone to get set up.
Power play running now for 1:12 for Army. Collision back there low. Mansfield 22 now to the line for Army. There's a blast, no, and a shot by Pham was blocked. This trickles away. Quick movement around on the high umbrella. Here's Pham cutting in, looking, dropping high slot, and the drive by Wilkinson deflected up and out of play with still 50 seconds remaining on the Black Knight power play and 3:52 to go in the first period.
Well, the Black Knights finally starting to get set up in the offensive zone, and there were some lanes available, but I think if Wilkinson had an opportunity to reassess what was available instead of moving that back to the center ice area on the far post, there was an opportunity to find a lane and possibly 4x6. Eric Shearhorn.
Face off won by Pham. Power play running for 45 seconds for the Black Knights of Army. Pham runs it in. Here's Wilkinson. Trouble for Dalton McAfee, number 2, but he keeps it alive on the end boards to Franco. And a passport hung on it, and a long one-wayer sent down by Minnesota's Brent Gates Jr.
You often hear coaches who lead the penalty kill talk about first touch clears. The Gophers have been excellent on first touch clears in this first period, which has been a big reason why they've been successful along with that back pressure. Very rarely have the Black Knights had an opportunity to get a second effort.
Dineen's drive deflected wide. A two-hander by McAfee kept the puck alive, but the power play ticks away for Army, and it is now over. The Knights are scoreless on 2 power play opportunities. No shots on that one. And Minnesota continues to lead this game 1-0 with under 3 minutes to go in the first period. Mansfield driving down the wall, locked up by Nanny and ridden right into the corner. Softly ahead. Norman. Couldn't get a splinter on it, now does. Ryan Norman with a good second effort went 360 and came right back out to the blue line to pick up the puck. Army changing on the fly here with the puck in their zone. Box, B-O-X, Blake Box. Rangy senior from Dallas turns it back out, picked off by the Gophers' Tyler Nanny. And here's Nanny, number 29. Back out come the Gophers. McManus is there to swing it down low. And down to the last 2 minutes of the first period. Minnesota's on the attack. Two fresh defensemen now jump into the play for the Golden Gophers. Glover and Sulsdorf just off the bench. Here's Sulsdorf down low. Minnesota changing one at a time as it can here. Bristed. Eyeballed by a sweep checking Taylor Maruya. And here is Higgins. Now the Gophers. Up and down. Novak swings. Tried that center to Bristed. It just misfired. Bristed hacking away at it. Pulled out of the corner now by Tommy Novak. Softly over a drive by Sheehy just wide. Jumping in, it's Bristed. But the puck up the wall is turned back out by Taylor Maruya for Army. And the Black Knights come streaming back. Now driving a shot just deflected. And away to neutral comes Minnesota. This is Brent Gates. Sweep check by DeCenzo knocks it away. DeCenzo and Gates banging in the corner with a minute to go in the opening canto at 3M Aricha at Mariucci. Away to neutral ice it come the Black Knights of Army. Tyler Pham, number 9, banging down in the corner with Steve Johnson, and the Gophers bring it back out again. Sadik. And Anderle all over him. Now gets it over the line. And a running gun by Smatula is stopped by Jared Dempsey. And then a pile of bodies along the end zone. Right along the end boards. With DeCenzo and Schechter there for Army. And somewhere down in the middle of that sandwich, apparently with no damage done to him, was Jack Sadik.
Almost without seeing a number, you could say. I guarantee that will be another Minnesota player involved with a Minnesota Gopher, and that is DeCenzo. A game against the Gophers, first one in 50 years for Army, but for DeCenzo, this game means a little bit more.
Yeah.
Bragging rights, the opportunity to give it to some of the guys he played with on different all-star teams along the way, and that passion rises to a boiling point right there.
The face in the Army zone. Smatula for Minnesota. Locking up with Michael Wilson in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Half a minute to go in the first period. Gophers in the saddle by 1, but out comes Army. Brendan Susi picked off at the Gopher line. Sadik kissed it ahead now to the line the other way, but it's Smatula. And Mike Smatula as it's swept free from him by Alex Wilkinson. This one sails to neutral ice. A quick shovel by Susi. Susi, number 14, has it back over skates. A puck bouncing around down there. And Minnesota wheels it back out, but the last seconds drip away from the first period. And that is